Maybe you've heard things like VA loans take too long, or the appraisal requirements are too strict, or, well, what about those non allowable fees that the seller has to pay for? If you've heard any of those before, or currently have those beliefs, whether you're a realtor helping one of your sellers, or you're a seller yourself, or a frustrated VA buyer, stay tuned because I want to break down what's true, what's not, and why a VA offer actually deserves a second look. Let's dive into it. So, first, I want to talk about the VA loan advantages. VA loans were created to help those active duty service members, veterans, and their eligible surviving spouses to achieve home ownership, but not just achieving home ownership, being able to do it with no down payment, no monthly mortgage insurance, and really competitive interest rates. In most cases, VA buyers are some of the most financially stable borrowers in the market. They've earned this benefit through their service, and VA loans, believe it or not, have one of the lowest default rates for any type of loan. So, for all of my listing agents out there, if you have a VA offer that is made on one of your listings, it's not a risk. It's an opportunity to help someone who's served and who's using this program that's designed to protect both the buyer and the property. So there's three misconceptions that I want to dig into today. And the first one, we'll start with a myth that a VA loan requires a termite inspection. Now, it's not true in all cases, but VA does require a wood destroying pest inspection or a termite report when the property is located in an area where termite activity is considered moderate to heavy or very heavy. So, according to this USDA termite infestation probability map, it includes most of the southern United States, like California, Texas, and much of the Southeast, but not everywhere. And here's what's important. This requirement is about ensuring the property is structurally sound. It's not meant to complicate the transaction. It's just meant to protect the veteran from buying a home with unseen damage that could cost thousands of dollars for them down the road. Historically, veteran buyers were not allowed to pay for the termite inspection in certain states, and it had to be paid by someone other than the veteran. So whether that was the seller, the lender, or one of the realtors. However, that rule has changed. And as of June 15th of 2022, VA updated its policy to allow a veteran buyer to not only pay for the termite inspection, but they can also pay for any of the required repairs that are called out on that inspection, as long as it's customary for that local market. Will all VA buyers be in a position to pay for that report and those repairs? No, and even on an FHA or conventional loan, a buyer may ask for a termite report, or if it's called out on an appraisal, and it may be required to still be part of the loan, and that buyer will ask for the seller to take care of those repairs. But at least this update in the policy allows for the negotiations to happen in the same way that it would occur with a conventional loan if there were termite repairs that were called out during the loan process. Now, let's move on to misconception number two. And this one probably causes the most hesitation. And it's the idea that VA appraisals are just too strict. Now, I can say that the VA appraisal process is different, but it's not harder. The VA assigned appraisal's main job is twofold, is to determine the property's market value, but also make sure that it meets the minimum property requirements. Those requirements come down to three simple standards. The home must be safe, so there's no health or safety hazards. It must be structurally sound, so there's no major damage or instability. And it must be sanitary, so it needs to have functional plumbing, utilities, and a clean water supply. That's it. What the VA is not doing is nitpicking cosmetic issues or holding the property to an unrealistic standard. They're not testing every appliance, opening electrical panels, or doing a full-on home inspection. Those are the responsibility of the buyer, not the appraiser. If the appraiser sees something obvious like a handrail missing or peeling paint that could be lead-based or evidence of a roof leak, they're required to note it. But guess what? In most cases, conventional appraisers would flag the same issue under their lender guidelines that are related to habitability or safety. And if something does come up that needs to be repaired before closing, there's often a simple solution called an escrow holdback. And how that works is that if the issue is minor, like peeling paint, a broken window, or maybe some other small exterior repair, a small amount of money, that's usually about 1.5 to 2 times that estimated repair cost, will be held in escrow at closing. The repair gets completed shortly after closing, and once it's been verified that that repair was completed, then those funds will be released to pay for the work. This solution helps keep the transaction timing on track without having to force everybody to wait weeks for something small to be fixed. The key here, though, is that the home still needs to meet the standard of being safe, sound, and sanitary. And the underwriter does need to approve that holdback before closing. And finally, let's dig into those non-allowables. Another persistent myth is that a seller is going to be required to pay for some or all of a VA buyer's closing costs. And that's just simply not the case. The VA will limit what fees that the veteran can be charged directly, but it doesn't require them to be paid by the seller. VA buyers can pay all of the normal closing costs for things like the appraisal, title insurance, recording, and a credit report. But what VA does restrict are particular lender and closing fees, things like doc prep, underwriting, or processing charges, what some might call junk fees. So they just put caps on what can be charged. So if a VA buyer is asking for a seller to help cover some of their closing costs, it's just part of their negotiation. It's not a mandate. Although it would be very helpful for them, it's no different than if a conventional or FHA buyer was also asking for any concessions. So for our potential sellers out there, if you receive an offer on your home and the buyer is getting a VA loan, it doesn't automatically mean that you're going to have more out-of-pocket costs. Well, there you have it. Hopefully today you learned that not every VA buyer is going to come with extra costs for their termite report or those required repairs, or that it's not going to have an extra long process or super scary appraisal report. And finally, that you're not going to necessarily have all of these out of pocket costs for particular fees that a seller is going to need to pay. When everybody understands these guidelines, the conversation changes. Because the fact is, VA buyers are strong buyers. They're pre-approved, they've earned this incredible financing advantage, and they're backed by one of the most stable loan programs in the country. So, if you're a listing agent, the best thing that you can do is work with a lender who knows the VA process inside and out. That ensures clear communication, quick appraisal ordering, and fewer surprises. And if you're a veteran or an active duty service member, don't let the miss discourage you from using your benefits. The program was built for you, and with the right team, you can make an offer that can absolutely compete and win. My name is Amber Jones, and I'm a certified mortgage advisor. But not only that, I am also a granddaughter, daughter, cousin, and niece of a veteran as well. And I'm here to help inform you, empower you, and help you solve that financial obstacle that you're currently facing wherever you're at on your homeownership journey. I would love an opportunity to have a conversation with you, to go over your concerns, your questions, and help you plan your next steps. All of my contact information is below, where you can book a 15-minute phone call with me. I hope you found this information helpful today. And if you did, I would love it if you liked the video, subscribed, but most importantly, share it with a friend. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Make sure you think of that for their service, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.